Problems, how to manage life and still be a great developer. Overall, like, you don't have to be a parent to get anything out of this. It's just some good life tips that I've kind of learned along the way to help you organize life a little bit better. So my name is Tessa. I am an agency and community engineer at Pantheon, which means that I help make agencies and developers using the Pantheon platform more successful, train them, do anything that I can possibly do to make their life easier, as well as get to do awesome stuff like this by attending and organizing camps and volunteering and all that good stuff. I'm also an instructor for Girl Develop It, Minneapolis. Used to be a chapter leader, recently stepped down. I started in Joomla and moved to WordPress. Yeah, I still love Joomla. It's like my start. It's like my baby. Like, I still love Joomla. Moved into WordPress, and actually most recently been starting to work inside of Drupal, and I'm really digging it, as much as I hate to admit that. You can find me. Whoops, take a little bit. That's my. It's going wonky. That is my Twitter handle if you want to find me. #parentproblems. My email, website. You can find me at other Drupal or WordPress events. This is my family. So this is my stepson, Ethan. He's 15. This is Grayson, that's a 6-year-old, and that's Caden, the 8-year-old, and this is Olivia. This is about like 9-month-old picture, so everyone's gotten a little bigger, but this is the crazy family I have. Of course, that's my husband. This is my silly dog. Her name is Pixel. She is a Great Dane. She's about 7 months old and about 90 pounds now, so she's, I don't have to bend down to touch her. Like, I can just pet her back, which is nice and not nice sometimes. So as we go through these slides, you're going to see these like lovely parent pro tips. This is the first one. If you don't want to constantly clean your floor, get a dog. Does anyone have a dog? Have you like gone to people's houses without your dog and like had to actually clean up after your kids? You're like, dang it, where's my dog? So how do we learn new developer stuff when our life is already chaotic? For me, I do a lot of volunteering. Obviously, I have a full-time job. I have 3.5 kids. My stepson's pretty self-sufficient, but still needs some stuff. At this point, it's like I need money or I need a ride to the movies. So how do you manage life and be able to do all of those things? So we need to get organized or funky. I was hoping that would come through the other speakers. We have like fun little music in my slides today. Everybody clap your hands. So my first advice here is to stop doing the stuff you don't enjoy. It's hard to do that because like most of the time the stuff that you're doing you probably enjoy. But there might be like bits and pieces of that you don't actually enjoy. So find the things that are not making you happy. Maybe it's, I mean, you might have work-related things, obviously, and those don't really count, but maybe you're volunteering and there's like a bit of, or a piece of like whatever it is you're doing that you don't necessarily enjoy. Find someone else in the organization who's willing to do that. Maybe you took that on and you've realized that that's not your passion anymore and it's burning you out. So find the things that you don't enjoy and like hand them off or find a way to have somebody else do those. So my tip on that, and this is what I have done, is I found 3 to 4 things that really matter to me. And so I sat down and I said, okay, if I'm going to do all this volunteering and I'm going to do all this involvement, like what are the things that actually matter to me at the end of the day, and only do things that actually entail those things. So my priority list was my family's happiness. Obviously, I wanted to make sure that whatever I was doing and whatever they were doing, that everyone was happy and successful, and that's my top priority. My second one was, I forgot an S on career success. Was career success. So whatever that meant, if that meant that I spent more time on certain things so I got better at my job, or if that meant that I was just doing a really like super awesome job at work so I was successful, that was a priority for me. The third one was that I really love teaching people to code. And it could be new people, it can be people who are more advanced and they just want to learn something new. I just enjoy like sharing the knowledge that I have. And so that was a major passion for me. And then rescuing dogs. If you know me, or as you get to know me, you will, dog pictures, Pixel, I'm obsessed with dogs. Like I love them and I love saving them and I love volunteering with dog rescues and doing my part to help save as many dogs as possible. So what I did is I said, is there anything in this list that I can get rid of that I'm currently doing? So at the time, I was a chapter leader for Girl Develop It, Minneapolis, and I loved it. I loved being involved in all of those things, but being the chapter leader actually meant that I was teaching less classes. because I didn't have time to teach the classes. I was facilitating the actual venues we had classes at. I was finding sponsors for food. I was doing all of the other logistics that were involved with the chapter instead of actually just teaching. And so that's when I decided to step down. It was time for me to go back to what I really enjoyed doing, and that was the teaching piece of it. So I'm still very much passionate about the organization, very supportive, and now I'm just teaching classes because it doesn't fit into my list of things. So getting to the things, get rid of the things that push you to that edge and that you don't want to be there anymore. But when you do need time for yourself, tell your kids to get themselves dressed. Has anyone tried that? It's pretty brutal. My daughter will she's only 2, but somehow I'm not girly, or not very girly, I'd like to think, and somehow she has it ingrained in her brain that all of these girly things. When I bought her this little cute tutu, because I was how can you not? She's a girl. And that's her favorite thing. And it's she just wants all of these girly, dressy things. So she'll come back with the silliest things she doesn't understand when I tell her to get dressed, but the concept is there. And my kids don't know how to, the boys do not know how to match at all. Yeah, true. So, just to if anyone wants to share, what are things that are passionate in your life that you would have on your list besides the obvious work and family? Fitness, yeah. That's actually one that probably should be on my list, but it's not. Anyone else want to share? Yeah. Church. That's actually a super great one. I agree with that one. No one else wants to share? It's hard to do. It's hard to actually break it down to a low enough level so that you feel actually organized, because even saying teaching people to code, that could encapsulate my entire life. So you just have to break it down as far as you possibly can. It also works with your house. So I am a clean freak, and I am the kind of house where I don't even have stuff on my wall because I just want it bare and empty and really clean. And so I have this process that I go through where if I have something and I'm I haven't probably touched this in the last month, I put it in a tote. I have a little label that I put on the outside of the items that are inside of the tote, so if I need to find something, I can find it. And then I put it away in an attic or in our basement or whatever that looks like for storage. And in 6 months, I go back and go through and okay, I put these totes away at this point. If I haven't touched anything inside of that tote, then I go through it and just get rid of it, because if I haven't touched it in 6 months, I probably don't need it, minus some memorable things, and just get rid of it. So the same process works for your house. Make a list of the things you absolutely need, put them in that box. If you don't touch them again, get rid of them. So on that note, you should throw away your child's artwork in the outside garbage. I've been busted for this multiple times, and I'm actually guilty of this. When your child figures it out, blame it on your spouse. I'm not sure if my husband knows, but he might listen to these eventually and find out. So on the note of artwork, write everything down immediately. I'm really bad about taking my own advice on this. I will be oh yeah, I'll remember. And 2 hours later, I'm I don't remember. What did they tell me? I don't remember. Writing everything down is super important. I personally love country. I'm from a very small town in northern Minnesota, so I like country and fishing and camping and things like that. So writing it down, it doesn't necessarily have to be pen on paper writing it down. It could be just that you're logging it somewhere. I use Todoist and really love it. There's also Wunderlist. I've heard great things about that. David, I know you used to use that, but you use Todoist now. So is Todoist?
Wunderlist was bought by Microsoft and is no longer adding new features to Wunderlist. That's why I switched to Todoist.
Well, maybe we should take that off. Just use Todoist. Otherwise, there's some really great journals out there. I personally have the Self Journal. It's pretty great. I've probably used it a little bit, but I've seen myself not using it as much, only because I'm on my computer all the time. And so it's really hard for me to carry around a notebook and write stuff in. And it's well, it's in my computer. Why should I carry around this extra notebook? But these are super great in helping you get organized or becoming more organized if you're not at all organized now. So what's nice about both of the journals, so Passion Planner is another one, is that the Self Journal has like my day broken out. And so it's broken out into like half-an-hour chunks. And so I can actually like put things that are happening. So what I was doing is that at the night before, or like the morning of, because my calendar like fluctuates greatly, I didn't want to do it too far in advance, that I would put those things in there. And that was also a way for me to like look at my calendar ahead of time, and like kind of prepare and like mentally know what's coming up in my day. And so I put it in the calendar side of it, and then on the right hand side of it, it had like high level goals, like things that you wanted to get done. But then there was milestones that were going to get you to those goals. So it helped me say like, finish my parent problem slides. And like the details to that would have been like, write an outline, or find the imagery I want to use, or in my case, find the songs that I wanted to add. To be able to break up those goals to make them feel less scary. Then they also had like a notes area, and then, I don't think it had that on there. This is like the right-hand side. And I can't remember what's on the bottom. But it also had like these fun little quotes. I failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. They're just like fun kind of inspirational quotes that like keep you going, like keep you organized and keep you want to like keep moving with it. So on the note of writing things down, you should never leave a Sharpie unattended. So this image, I gave this talk at mid-camp for the first time, and I had that parent pro tip in there. I've had them do it to like things, like books, whatever, which were like small things. And so I was like, yeah, this is important. Like, don't leave a Sharpie unattended. This literally happened like a month ago after I told people not to do it. My daughter found a Sharpie. This is on a I don't remember, it was either $250 or like $300 mattress cover that we bought for our like super expensive like $2,000 mattress. And it bled through just a little. But that actually happened. So like real life example that you should not let this happen. You should never leave those unattended. So it's really too bad David, who I keep calling on, but he is my coworker, so I know him well, did a talk yesterday called Peak Productivity with Ivy Lee. Life changing, no joke. Like the organization methods that he suggests in his slides can completely change your day. So I'm not going to give away his presentation. I think that you should go, you should watch it. I have a link he presented it at mid-camp, and so I have a link here in the slides for you to go and watch that. But some of the concept behind it is making a daily list and creating a list of 6 things that you need to do that day or the next day, however you break it out, and prioritizing them and ensuring that the things that are on that list make sense for your day. The days I don't do that, it's like pure chaos. Absolute chaos. I take on things I shouldn't. I do things I shouldn't be doing based on deadlines. I am not successful. I'm working, I'm getting things done, but I'm not getting the things done that I need to be getting done. So I strongly, strongly suggest that you watch his session. It is fantastic. So, another tip. You can't do anything about this one, but I swear, every time my hands are full of groceries, I'm holding my 2-year-old, my keys are constantly in the opposite pocket of where I'm holding all the things. It's why? Why does it have to happen? So the next big section is mindfulness, sometimes called meditation. A friend of mine had recommended meditation, and I was like, no. I am not gonna sit down and have my hands all kooky and whatever it is that they're doing. I'm just not doing that. That's not what it is. It's not at all what I thought that it was. So what is mindfulness? It's a basic human ability to be fully present, aware of where we are, what we're doing, and not overly reactive or overwhelmed by what's going on around us. I naturally am a very reactive person. One thing that I don't like about myself, but I know that it's there. Someone can say something to me and I will instantly react. And I don't take the time to always process through what happened, especially with emails, which is super bad because then I'll write back emails. I'm oh, but this isn't true. It's no, that's probably not how they even meant to say it. Just being able to process and take control of those emotions that you might have, to react and be aware of different things that are going on. So how do we get unstressed out? Meditation benefits. So these are the things that are benefits to actual meditation. Help manage stress, This is very true because it helps you like cognitively like figure out how you need to think through something or how you're actually feeling and how to control those emotions. Sleep Better, this is like hands down, I'm not even joking. It used to take me like an hour to fall asleep. If I meditate before I go to bed, I like allow my body to calm down. I think through all the things that were like going crazy in my mind, and I just let it go, and I fall asleep, and I sleep super great. If I don't do it, I'm not as successful. The maintain healthier relationships is actually very true because I tend to like take on a lot of things. I don't say no very well, which means that like my husband takes the brunt of that. So that means that like, oh, I'm working or I'm doing whatever, and so he's the one who's taking care of our kids, or he's the one that's cleaning the house, or whatever that looks like. So being able to manage that stress and take control of it will definitely help with relationships. Manage anxiety, that's also very true. Like when you take on a lot of things and you have a lot going on, like you tend to get anxious because you're like, how am I going to get all this stuff done? What am I going to do? Like, what if I don't finish it? And being able to just like control that situation. And then sharpen concentration. They all kind of play, in together, of course. Like, if you're more under control, then you're going to have more concentration. So practice mindfulness. It isn't just for adults. This is also great for kids as well. When I started using Headspace, I loved it so much that I was like, I wonder if I could get my kids. Yeah.
What's Headspace?
Well, I'm going to get there. But Headspace is, no, it's totally fine. Headspace is I probably should have that slide first, actually. So Headspace, there's two that I've found, Headspace and Calm. So Headspace is an app that you can get on your phone or on your computer or wherever that will give you like recordings of these different like meditations. So when I first found Headspace, I was like, wow, this is working so well for me to fall asleep. Why can't I try this on my kids? My kids are like the constant, I need a snack, I need a hug. Oh, you didn't give me a kiss goodnight. Come tuck me in again. I have to go to the bathroom. Like if anyone has kids, I'm sure the rest of your kids do that. It's like constant excuses before bedtime. And I was like, if you would just fall asleep before all the excuses, then we'd be fine. So I actually got them to use it, and it like worked. I laid on the floor with them. We did, the kids ones are a little bit shorter. So the adult ones started at 10 minutes, which I felt like was a perfect amount of time to just like let me relax. And the kids ones, depending on the age, are like anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. And so we started with like the 2-minute one, and they were like, oh, this is cool. And then they got a little antsy afterwards, so we like bumped up to the 5-minute one. And I laid on their floor and got super relaxed with them. I got up off the floor and they're both like passed out. I was like, this is the best thing ever. It didn't always work like that. It was definitely most successful the first time. I think they've figured out how to fight it now. But it still nonetheless like helps them like decompress and just kind of calm down. And also there's a couple other ones on there, and one of them is talking about being kind. There's ones that are like about calm. There's ones that are about focus, like if they have important things they need to do at school or whatever. And the being kind one like really hit home with my 6-year-old. He can be the sweetest kid ever at school. Like his teacher thinks he's just phenomenal. But at home, that's not always the case. He can be pretty mean. And so the being kind one, I had him listen to it. And so I sat there, we listened to it together. And what it was talking about is it was saying like, hey, think of someone you really love. He got all smiley and like touched my arm. And I was like, oh. And then it was saying like, what would that person like really love getting as a gift? And so I could like see him, he was kind of just like looking around, like thinking, and then it basically goes into imagine that you're giving this person that you really love this perfect gift. Like, how do you think that's making them feel? And he got all smiley and like gave me a hug, and it was just kind of this envision of him like giving me this gift that he thought that I would really love, and it made him very happy. And I was like, Grayson, like, what did you think of that? And he's like, oh, I wish I could actually give you that gift. And I was like, well, it doesn't have to be a physical thing. Like you just, like the fact of like being kind and being nice to someone and caring about like what they would enjoy receiving is really the point. I'm like, honestly, what I would really love is just a hug. And he like gave me a hug, and he was like, oh, this is so great. And like, he still gets a little mean, of course. Like no one's going to be changed from meditating. But when he gets in kind of one of his rampages, like we'll sit down and I'm like, let's just listen. Let's just hug a little, and we'll just listen to some Headspace. And then he tends to like calm down. So it's been really great for that. So Headspace and Calm. Calm is really helpful for sleeping, actually. If you're big into listening to things when you go to sleep, they have a lot of like Like rain, I love listening to rain. Like if it's thundering and storming, like before I go to bed, I'm just like, that's like perfect for me. So they have like a rain, like thunderstorm one that you can listen to like when you're going to sleep. Headspace, I feel like, has better offerings for like guided meditation. So I actually have one that we're going to try.
Hi, my name's Andy, and welcome to Headspace Calm. So you can do this exercise either sitting upright or lying down, whatever feels most
I'm
comfortable.
going to sit down so I don't
for
distract you guys.
And in this exercise, we're going to practice letting the body relax. As the body relaxes, so the mind starts to feel a little more calm. Perhaps we have a few less thoughts in our head, and so the body starts to feel even more relaxed. So we're just going to take a couple of nice big deep breaths. And you can close your eyes if you'd like to. So when you're ready, and when you're sitting comfortably, just take a deep breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. If you like, you can just place your hand on your stomach, and you'll notice that as you breathe in through the nose, the stomach, tummy expands, and as you breathe out through the mouth, it gets smaller, it falls back down again. There's like a rising and a falling sensation. Just do a couple more of those, breathing in through the nose, feeling the stomach expand, get bigger, and as you breathe out through the mouth, just feeling the stomach shrink down, get a bit smaller. Again, rising up and falling down. And then just allowing the breath to return to normal. So you don't have to take any big deep breaths anymore. Just breathe as you normally would, but just keeping your hand on the stomach. And just watching how the hand moves up and down. Not trying to breathe in any special way. Just watching that movement. Sometimes it's a big movement. Sometimes a very small movement. Sometimes it's very quick, sometimes very slow. Doesn't matter which it is, we're just following it, just watching it in our mind. And if we forget about it at any time, we're just bringing our attention back to it again. But right now, just gently opening the eyes again.
What did you guys think? Did you guys actually do it? Did you like it? Awesome. I like love it. I have the tendency of like thinking about millions of things, and I just can't like stop. And when I get to that point, like they actually have like this like SOS mode where you're just like, I just need to stop and like just take a deep breath. And it's super great. I do pay for it. I don't remember like how much it was, what the like plans are. I want to say it was like $12, and I don't know if it's monthly or if that was like for a year or whatever, but well worth it if it's something you're interested in. Yeah.
I hate to jump in and talk, sorry, but I just want to say it's free. You can start out free.
Yeah, it's totally free to start out. It's if you want the kid ones or like the SOS or like the detailed ones, it is little.
Yeah, but so if you want to try it, like, it's free.
Yeah,
Just do it.
totally. Yes. Agreed. Do it. Parent pro tip, wine. Or beer, whatever your thing is. So takeaways. Eliminate stress by saying no. Declutter and prioritize. Get rid of the things that you don't actually enjoy doing. Do the things you do enjoy doing. Stay ahead of stress by writing things down. Document everything. Control your stress levels with mindfulness. Try Headspace, Calm, try anything else. I'm sure there's tons of other resources out there. It's just a really great way to just like let your mind decompress. If your kids don't come when you call them, if you turn off the Wi-Fi, you can see how quick they'll come around. Tried that the other day. I was like, man, I can't believe I haven't been doing this like my entire life. Thank you for attending my session. Whoops, I'll go back to that. This is on my website. I love your feedback. comments, things that have helped you, any ideas you might have that I can use. Greatly appreciate. So feel free to fill that out. We won't do that again. Last tip. I do this way more than I'd like to admit. Mom, can I have a bite of your ice cream? No, it's hot sauce flavored. Nope, it's not gonna work. Can I have a bite of your food? Nope, I put hot sauce all over it. It's a really, really great tip. Thank you for coming.